Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Talladega Superspeedway, playing host to this evening's iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series Season 4 race. It is round 8, and it is our second endurance event on this 2015 campaign. For the stars fell on Alabama. 250 got on tap here this evening as the field hits the grid, PD. 94 laps for 250 miles, and exiting what was a very interesting off week in the world of iSuperspeedway. A lot going on there. We'll talk to you about the revised Daytona finishing results once we get rolling here, but it's time to go endurance racing. It is nearly an entirely stacked field. 42 out of a possible 43 pit stalls are filled, and for the second endurance event on the year, it's going to be a race and a strategy that is going to take for this that we have yet to see so far in these feature races in the B mains and the A mains, because tonight it's a whole different ball game.
Wow, 41 cars looking to take the green flag here. Should be a huge star-studded field. I mean, as you can see, all 41 of them drivers from first car to last car are names of significance. In last place tonight, we have a guy who won here last season, Austin Carver. And starting on the pole is Ronnie Wofford, who won the iSuperspeedway 500. Talent from the pole to 41st. Anyone could win this race, and it's going to be a thriller. And don't forget to mention that the guy who won last year starting second, I mean, he's already looking strong out of the gate again.
Yeah, Leach looks to go back-to-back in this series event. Again, you get a trophy every time you win, but this one, a little bit different, a little bit more special. These drivers definitely want to have that next to their sim rig rolling forward. Let's give you the LSRTV starting grid as we roll here in Lincoln, Alabama. Rodney Wofford with a pole with a 50.882. Alongside him, Elliott Leach will roll from second. Rod Flagg in third. Fourth position, Josh Hanner, and Seth the Merchant in fifth.
In sixth, that will be the number 21 of Ray Rittenauer with the second. In seventh will be Mark Jorgensen Jr., the fan favorite. In eighth tonight's Richard Holiday, looking to find a win after a slow start to the season. Ninth, the number 85 of Paul Servant. He's also off to a little bit of a hot start here. Looks to keep his momentum alive. And rounding out your top 10 is Jared Haggerty in the 23.
11th position, Corey Henry. Shane McEachin 12th. 13th, Ed Osborne. About Evans 14th, and 15th, Chris Bassini.
16th, Robbie Roy. 17th, Frank Musili III. 18th, Matt Pelletier. 19th, Kyle Geary. And 20th, Jason Oltmans.
Matt Bontempi, Chad Keene, Dan Harrington, Daniel Ferguson, and Jeff Figlin, 21st through 25th.
Tommy Hall, Mark Brown, Tony Fenn, Larry Camp, and Greg Hooks, 26th through 30th.
Then you got Donnie Giritato, 31st, 32nd, Carson DeJohn Tomaso, Ron Thompson, 33rd, 34th, Sean Turner, and Kent Connolly in 35th.
Rounding out your field is Jose Ramirez, Tanner Mann, William Roberts Jr., Jimmy Todd, Michael Lathrop, Derek Walker, and Austin Carver sits shotgun on this 42-car field, one car away from being a full field as we get ready to go green.
It's an open entry list. There's drivers here that have competed throughout iSuperspeedway all year. There's drivers we haven't seen in a while. They all have a common goal. It's the checkered flag. Don't forget, there's still points on the line tonight with the base car. With sharp left-hand turn down to the pit lane, we're glad to have you with us this evening on LSRTV. Green flag flies as they cross the start-finish line for the first time. Too wide, just about 21 rows deep. The stars fell on Alabama. 250 from Talladega Superspeedway. It's green flag down the quarters 1 and 2.
Elliott Leach on the outside with a good start, but he's going to run out of momentum as Josh Hanner cannot get there right away. That's kind of a rival right behind. Don't expect a whole lot of love as now he has to race side-by-side with league administrator and past champion Rod Flagg in the 26 as they race side-by-side down the backstretch. Lots of squirrelying around here. That's not quite a word, but these guys are doing it.
It's
a whole lot
accurate.
of excitement going on as we are continuing to just not fan out. These guys are going all out on lap number 1. I mean, the big one will strike tonight. It's just a matter of where and when. I'm sure these guys don't want to do it early as we continue to see the two lines race each other. No one has a clear advantage, although it's obviously two very talented drivers in first and second.
So you take the average field size we see of about 30-plus cars, add at least 10 more onto them, and you sit right where we are right now, but again, is almost an entirely full field, 42 strong from the top to the bottom right now. They all sit in that lead draft at the moment. The back of the pack significantly more single-filed out than everybody up front. You'll already see those guys dropping back, though, based on their strategy they want to play.
Richard Holiday almost got turned in turn number 2. I mean, that car was dead sideways for a split second. That was insane there. He almost got turned, somehow hung onto it. Did Seth the Merchant has to save. And while we were talking about all that, Elliott Leach and Josh Hanner took the lead.
And at 03 goes up to the high side. He is going to slide backwards. That is something that we saw, the pushing on the left rear. First off, can't be doing it in the quarter. That little bit of contact gets that car sideways. That's something that we saw if you were with us Monday night for the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series from Talladega. Pushing on that left rear does not typically end well. You talked about the swap for the top spot. It went to Elliott Leach that time by. How about Seth the Merchant? Got the orange numbers on that 32 Chevy via the I-5 bonus. We'll talk about that as this night continues. He is on the outside and really a lone pair up high. Has helped the Diet Mountain Dew Chevy of that number 80 to Mark Jorgensen Jr. Obviously the 88 machine trying to get a win tonight. And as you said when we were going through the grade, one of the fan favorites running that Dale Jr. paint scheme, they're going to lose their momentum in 3 and 4. Inside regains the advantage. And if you look at this, they do not have any help on the outside for about 6-7 car lengths till you get back here for the next set of 2 cars trying to make the outside work, and led by the man that made contact just moments ago after you were talking about the issues that we saw just moments ago with the cars up high. And now a check up into the quarter. Things get a little squirrely, but that's what happens when you start to push. It's that 23 of Jared Haggerty. He is working with the 28 of Shane McEachin, and they're making up pretty good headway. Question is, once they catch these guys, do they go with them? Do they go around them? How about that 24, though? Josh Hanner, he wants to lead, and he'll leave Elliott Leach out to dry.
Trying to go with his teammate there, Mark Jorgensen. 1 car separated them. Now will he wait on Seth the Merchant? Because if he waits too long, here comes Leach and Wofford, 2 guys with very strong cars. I would not wait on that tandem and give them any extra advantage. They don't need it. They can do it. And Rodney Wofford going to the outside now. No one wants to work with Elliott Leach. Elliott Leach, a man all on his own on the inside line. He'll have to wait all the way to Rod Flag. He could fall back as far as 4th before these guys are on freight training him. Top 3 are clear. Mark Jorgensen trying to join him, and he will. All of the top 4 will clear Elliott Leach. He's going to fall back to P5th after a dramatic turn of events there. No one wanted to work with Elliott Leach, and now Josh Hanner takes the lead in the number 24 machine. Out front, it's the Handrick guys and the Wicked Autosport. Those 2 teams working together early in this event, and they currently occupy the top 4. Now we see Elliott Leach hook up with his teammate, Jared Haggerty. Those 2 are going to be trying to come to the front. Haggerty has had a poor start to this season, though. Last season he was a contender for the championship heading in the finale. Really looked like a guy who could possibly win it all, but this season he's had a rough start. He's made some really poor decisions, wrecked a lot of cars, and he is looking to rebound here in a big way in the SFOA. I mean, just a very big race to win here as they go 3 wide. The Do Shine machine up the middle. And, well, I think now we see Mark Jorgensen trying to get up with his teammate.
Yeah, that's Dana Osborne in that number 8 machine, that Diet Mountain Dew, the Dew Shine Chevrolet going up. He's got Frank Busilia trailing him, who is now a winner in this series and is going to be in the iSuper Chase again. We'll continue to let you know what went down at Daytona 1 week ago if you weren't with us, if we get a moment here under a caution flag or on a long green flag stretch. This race has the possibility of having that long green flag stretch. It's something that we don't typically see in our B mains and the A mains, really, because even if they went green for the whole thing, it's still a rather short race. For the next event, feature race 9 coming up in 1 week's time at Daytona, just a 20-lap B main, a 40-lap A main, not a lot of time. Tonight, a completely different story with 94 laps on tap, and again, free entry. You did not have to qualify into this through any heats, through a Dash for Cash. You're in and you're in. You got your qualifying 5-minute, 1 lap, puts you on the board. A lot of guys dropping back, we saw earlier on in this. How about Richard Holiday? Not necessarily by choice, but that number 8 machine now in 37th spot. A couple of guys that have fallen way off of this lead pack. Derek Walker and Gray Cooks, both the 4 and the 98 in 41st and 42nd position. Don't want anything to do with that lead trap. They're over 6 seconds plus out of it, and you'll start to see this group slowly start to spread out, and it's a question of how aggressive do people want to get. You know that if you push, it is possible to make that move. These guys have almost got that down to a science now, PD. The question is, at what point do you become satisfied with where you're running, and are these guys really going to get into a mode where they just single file out, ride around, or are we going to see challenges up on the high side throughout this entire race? Because still, a good amount of cars up there. Looks like 3 of them inside of that lead draft, the 88 and the 42. 23 wants to join that, but Jared Haggerty doesn't necessarily have anybody else to work with at it too.
As they continue to race now to Merchant and Hanner. We have a whole lot of winners up there in this top lead pack right now, as all these guys doing a fine job already. I mean, Wicked Autosports has dominated team points to start the season, that being Girantano, Wofford, and the Merchant. Obviously a very, very star-filled team here, but just trying to keep up their hot streak, and they're doing a fine job so far, running second and third. Now we see Rob Flagg go to the outside to work with his buddy Mark Jorgensen, and don't get me wrong, Mark Jorgensen's a big Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, but he's made his own name with that number 88 in this series. I mean, the fans know Jorgie, and Jorgie's his own character. Unlike the driver that he idles, he is very outgoing and not afraid to hide his opinion, unlike Dale Jr. So, I mean, he's a very exciting person to meet, and this is obviously a very entertaining guy when you're in the TeamSpeak channel with everyone. And now he is trying to push Rod Flag to the top spot. Number 2 drivers that are looking for the first win. Caution in the back. We have a wreck, and there's a bunch of cars going around down the back stretch, and a hard hit to the inside wall for Michael Lathrop.
And they spread at a quarter 2. Caution flag will fly, and it did begin with that number 86 of Michael Lathrop. We'll work on getting the replay up for you shortly as these cars just now getting turned back around down the back straightaway. First caution flag flies at lap number 9, and the stars fell on Alabama 250. Michael Lathrop in the number 86 P34, pushing the car in front of him. In 33rd, that was Tony Fenn. Fenn got a little bit of a push on that left rear, which we talked about just earlier on in this after it almost went really, really bad for Richard Holliday. That contact, well, it did not go in favor of the 78 car, got turned all the way around there. Fenn ended up in the outside wall. He actually got away fairly clean. The issues arise when you look at the guys that he had made contact with, and obviously spinning around, you got cars coming off the corner. It did not end in a positive manner for that number 86 team. Lathrop came back down. He got hit in the back. I believe that was Austin Carver's machine. Turned head on into the fence and ended up pancaking it, destroying that left side. And we do go under our first caution so far in this race. Josh Hanner leads at Talladega in that number 24 after starting P4. Our pole sitter right now, Wofford, only back to 4th.
I mean, yeah, we just had a good start to this race here, and you know, I think we'll keep it up. This will be a good race, 94 laps. I mean, not too terribly long in the bigger scheme of things, but obviously enough laps to make this entertaining. These guys coming down pit road. Let's see if anyone dares to stay out. It will start with Rod Flag staying out. Behind him, most of everyone coming down pit road. We had a few stragglers staying out, as such as Corey Henry and a few others, but coming down pit road, Josh Hanner looks to come all the way down to the number 4 stall here, and he is going to be trying to get some quick service, get in and off of pit road. Tires are not too big of an issue here at these super speedway tracks, and he is getting right there in his stall. He actually missed his stall pretty bad, and he missed it again. Josh Hanner just actually had one of the biggest chokes of a pit stop I have ever seen here in the iSuper Speedway series. I don't know how you miss your pit stall twice, especially when you have the big guy standing there. Josh Hanner must have been distracted by something else there for a quick minute.
Before drivers stay out, Rod Flag, Ray Rittenauer, Corey Henry, Ramon Evans, everybody else down to the pit lane. Michael Lathrop will join them. He was down to the pit lane to get service done, and he'll get one of his quick fixes. But it was, again, Josh Hanner, who had led when we come down the pit lane. He entered his stall and, again, had some severe issues getting that car into the stall. Ended up taking fuel only, and then left the pit lane behind the 7, and as well behind Jorgensen Jr., Ron Thompson, Seth the Merchant. Just some of the names that exited the pit lane in front of him. And we talked about how it was an interesting week in the iSuper Speedway world. We'll let you know what happened there. 1 week ago, it was quite the finish at Daytona we saw. He began with contact, Matt Bontempi, and if you were tuning in, you know, PD, it was probably one of the most exciting finishes we had seen. That was the first time that we were at the Daytona Circa 07 track. Frank Busilia made contact with Matt Bontempi. He ended up in the grass. Busilia wins, Robbie Roy second, Matt Bontempi third. The initial call and the way that we exited the broadcast with the interviews was we talked to Robbie Roy in victory lane. He was the winner, and Frank Busilia was penalized. Well, 2 days after that, race control reviewed, and once again, they gave a penalty as well to that 14 of Robbie Roy for making contact in 3 and 4 for an illegal bump draft. He was given a black flag. Therefore, the man that originally led at a quarter number 4 was given the win. So Matt Bontempi was going to take home a checkered flag, somebody that a lot of drivers felt like he should have been the one to win it after, again, he was leading out of the final quarter before all that contact happened. He's the winner. And now just yesterday, both the 14 and the 94, Robbie Roy and Frank Busilia's team appealed the penalties, and they won both of their appeals. So the finishing order goes back to, I guess, technically what it never was, but it goes in the order that they actually cross the start-finish line, and somehow in all of this, Frank Busilia ends up winning, and he's in the chase.
Entertaining, to say the least. Had a whole lot of fun. And speaking of that, Matt Bontempi is our in-race reporter today, so you'll get to hear from him. And I mean, Matt Bontempi, always a very analytical guy, so he'll be a good one to talk to here. So hope that we get some really insightful thoughts from him later on tonight, but that we'll save that for another time, because obviously he is going to be very, very excited. He's been wanting to do this for weeks, so we're excited to get the opportunity to talk to him here. But we're getting ready for another restart here from Talladega, Alabama, and well, it's been a good start to this one. Last season it was Elliott Leach who brought home the victory, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw a repeat winner today, but he's going to have to work really hard. There's a lot of fast guys here today.
Lights are off on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car. We get set for our first American Ethanol restart in this evening's event. Going to be coming up, cross it over from lap 12, taking lap number 13. Rod Flagg will go to the top of the board. So we talk about winning. Winning is very important in this series when it comes to the iSuper Chase. Much like the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, you win and you're in. The only way to qualify for the Chase without a win is being a top 5 in points. So a lot of these drivers tonight, even that have not regularly competed, can be very benefited by a win. The drivers that are so far in: Rodney Wofford, Elliott Leach, Seth the Merchant, Brandon Jaberko, he is now no longer eligible, Jason Altmans, and now Frank Buscaglia. So we sit with 5 drivers. Do we add a 6th this evening? The pace car is down and away. It is the Cheerios Ford Fusion. Rod Flagg in control. We'll go head-to-head with Ray Rittenauer through the trial fold. We're looking for the green.
Here we come, green flag there, Rod Flagg down the way. He caught Ray Rittenauer, the second, sleeping, and that will leave Ramon Evans in the Alabama Crimson Time Machine to try to push him through. The Pittsburgh Penguin Machine now on the outside lane, trying to make it happen. He has a whole run of steam, but it's going to come up real short here, as now he is getting cleared by the inside line. That number 29, Tommy Hall, trying to push Rod Flagg to the top here. A whole lot of exciting action in this lead pack. Everyone getting a better job single filed out than they did last restart, but so far on this restart in specifics, we have seen Rod Flagg and Tommy Hall be able to dominate the competition. William Roberts the Jr., someone who in my opinion has probably been the most improved driver in this league. Season 1 we didn't talk about him a whole awful lot, but as of late he's been really showing a whole lot of speed, a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of ability to get things done. Car stopped on the inside of the track. It went by so quick you couldn't even see it there, Evan, but someone definitely having some issues here at Talladega.
The field continues to cycle through the travel. A lot of 3 wide at the back of the pack as everybody tries to get things sorted out. That car that is stopped is Corey Henry, the 25 machine. If we can get a live look, the Bud Light Platinum machine is stationary on the apron. Now he is gone. He is off of the racetrack. May have had some sort of an issue with his PC, with his sim. That could have been bad because he was slowly coasting. Now caution flag flies, we're wrecking.
Yeah, in the back here we have a few cars around. Robbie Roy involved. Looks like there was a little wreck in the back. First I thought I caught the cars, but no, they are still having a little bit of trouble back here. So obviously Shane McKeechin involved. That's a big guy to be involved. Past winner of big events last season. So we have a little bit of a big one here early on. As it was actually a Shane McKeechin. For the most part, everyone did a good job missing him, but unfortunately that Walmart machine could not.
And that car going to be forced down to the pit lane after that contact once again. It gets kicked off in quarter number 2, as it looked like that 28 machine got a little bit of, again, help from Frank Buscaglia, and he was a little bit staggered on that 33, could have bounced off the left rear of Larry Camp, and again, for the 3rd time tonight, and for the 2nd time it brings out a yellow. Contact on the left rear is going to turn somebody around, and then you mentioned almost sneaking through, but just a little bit shy of being able to totally avoid that one and getting involved in that. Sean Turner, a tough break, ends up into the inside fence as well. Caution flag flies, and we quickly slow them back down. We're under our 2nd caution flag at the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll step away for the first yellow of our own and go to a quick commercial break. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the iSuperspeedway.com racing series tonight. Round 8, and the stars fell on Alabama 250. Much more still to come.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember, out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
In the outside, contact made, 56 slides it into 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner.
Back live in Lincoln, Alabama, still working under our second caution flag of the evening with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Stars fell on Alabama 250. Live on LSRTV up in the broadcast booth, as always, this Friday evening. Myself, Evan Basoko, PDJ Zeller, PD. 2 cautions, 1 right off of the first one, and it is consistently a little bit of contact on that left rear. Again, by league rules, you can't be pushing in the corner, and it's just proving that those drivers always out there trying to push the limits, I guess, to the limitations put on them. Maybe not hooking up, but giving each other a little bit of a tap, especially when you're back 30-something position in a car of, or in a pack of 42 cars. Can't really sit around all that too long, and some drivers with a little bit of a higher sense of urgency than others try to make something work early. For some of them it has, for some of them it hasn't. 2 drivers that it has worked for, about Tommy Hall and William Roberts Jr. They'll be 2nd and 3rd for this restart. They started 26th and 38th.
Good job coming through the field for those guys. Really, really impressive job here. And Tommy Hall, you know, I really liked his old machine that he had going for him, the old camo machine, but it appears as though this week he's opted to go with a different style paint scheme. So Tommy Hall out there representing Club Texas, it appears. And, well, can't say that's a bad deal. Always good to represent your club in every single way. So actually I'm getting updates that he actually has the same camo car in there, so I guess my trading paint just messed with me a little bit there, but either way, good. I always like to see his car, so I'm really glad still the camo machine, as we will see the 2 guys on the front row with a lot of experience, and I guess you could say that for probably the whole top 10 at this point. You know, the funny thing is, you're talking about how normally this race has more cars than a lot of other races. We see some guys who normally aren't around. Honestly, when I was looking through the grid on this thing, I didn't see anyone that popped out to me that's normally not here. It seems like it's just a whole bunch of usuals. No one really out of the blue showing up to this one.
Right, well, you get the regular competitors, which you think of at A-Main, it's about 36 cars. You add a couple of drivers that don't qualify, and maybe a name or two like Josue Ramirez, who we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, and you get yourself to 42. And again, it was open invitation, so we still sit with 39 of 42 that started on the lead lap for this one. The pole sitter and company are going to be fourth on back. It is still, though, Ron Flagg up at the front of the field. He'll once again lead us through an American Ethanol restart in his number 26 Ford Fusion. He'll have the push from the owner of William Roberts Jr., and up high, Tommy Hall's going to have the push from Rodney Wofford. Through the travel, coming to the start-finish line, green flag back in the air. We race back down to quarter number 1 to put lap number 19 on the board.
All these guys continue to race down through the front stretch there after that restart. Good restart for Rod Flagg, but Tommy Hall just wasn't right up on the wheel on that one, and it lost a little bit of ground. And you see now that he is not going up to speed whatsoever, and now Rodney Wofford will try to push him. That car is not going. For Jason Holton, he doesn't like it all. Daringly moves down to the inside line in front of Ramon Evans, as these guys are all getting real squirrely on this restart. First car in place is Rod Flagg. On the outside, Tommy Hall leads the charge, but I'm sure that Rodney Wofford isn't going to want to wait on that too long. He'll probably be trying to make a move here on Tommy Hall as soon as he gets the opportunity, because don't want to wait too long, especially if we can get help from some teammates. And Rodney's seen that opportunity slip away, as now the top two are Rod Flagg and William Roberts Jr. A good top two working together there, two experienced veterans, and like I said, we have a whole bunch of that in the field. Just a lot of experience, a lot of respect being given so far in this one, as we are just 20 laps in.
Yeah, just still shy of quarter distance. Going to be there in a couple of laps or so, but the night is still young from the Talladega Superspeedway. Again, this racetrack quite different, even though they're both white tracks in comparison to Daytona, where we were 1 week ago. First off, well, that Daytona is pretty wicked because that was our first time at the Circle 07 circuit. But typically, Talladega versus our regular Daytona, it's a lot wider. It is a little bit bigger. The main difference is where that start-finish line is. It has decided finishes and change finishes versus if it would have been in the center of the travel instead of the 200 yards it is past there. Very interesting. That keeps these races always exciting. You see that 09, we saw this earlier. Rod Flagg was now in the lead. He jumped out and he left somebody to be able to go to the high side to get the lead. Well, the exact same thing happened to him. To the outside goes William Roberts Jr. He'll jump up, get the push from Tommy Hall. They have the 7, the 85, the 8 up there, but also now the outside lane has a little bit more help. How about 8 cars, 7 cars actually on the outside lane trying to challenge with the guys down low. More cars equals more momentum. The 09, though, he wants to shove from that 29 behind him if they're to do anything with the guys down low, because DeMerchant giving a lot of assistance to that 26 machine of Rod Flagg. They give the inside the advantage by 1.5 car lengths, and Seth slides up, and well, he pushed him and he'll just leave him.
And that's not going to work for Rod Flagg too well. He's going to fall all the way back to Ray Rittenauer the second, and that will give the lead to Seth Damershant, as he likes to be called, and he's taking the top spot over now with help from William Roberts. Those two probably will be moving down low, as they will. Tommy Hall almost coming with him, not quite enough time to do so he'll have to remain on the outside line. Great move there, though, by Seth Merchant, so he will take over the top spot. And I honestly think to start this season, I mean, obviously had Rodney Wofford win all the races the first 3 straight, but I really do believe the most consistent driver to start this season has been Seth Merchant. He's been in every single race for the win. He's been up there. He's obviously won a race. Seth Merchant has really had a strong showing so far in the season. He's here to win the title. He made sure everyone's aware of that this season. He's not just here to run a couple races, get some money. Seth Merchant certainly around for the long haul here, as he is currently leading the Stars Hall in Alabama, 250, but not for long, because here comes William Roberts Jr. William Roberts trying to take the lead over. Will not work out for him. Seth Merchant remains in the top spot as we click off another lap here in this 94-lap affair.
You talk about Seth the Merchant. Look at the roof on that machine right now. It's got those orange letters. You'll see a couple of the drivers with them as well. That is the I-5 bonus that occurs week in and week out. Basically, you finish in the top 5. You win the following week, you get $5. Nobody takes it. $5 going to be added to that prize pool. Well, we thought it was handed out 1 week ago, but with the revised finishing order, no. So that's going to go from $40 to now $45. If a top 5 finisher from last week can win tonight, those drivers include Robbie Roy, Matt Bontempi, Seth the Merchant, Elliott Leach, and Frank Lucilia. Well, the 32's awfully close to the front, and Seth the Merchant would definitely not object to not only taking home a checkered flag, not only a trophy, but as well $45 cash. Would have been extra incentive, but going back-to-back top 5s, even back-to-back top 10s is hard enough beating a plate track. let alone backing up a top 5 with a win. We have seen it happen. The largest money takeaway we've ever seen, though, happened last season. Brandon Traberko won $65. We're starting to get up there, so it's been a while.
Yeah, and I mean, Rod Flagg would certainly like to keep his money. I mean, remember, no one's helping Rod Flagg here. He's just shelling out money left and right for this league, and that's what makes his league so successful here, of course, along with the great rules they have in place and everything else this league has to offer. But Rod Flagg, if he can win it, I mean, he's not eligible tonight, but he's trying to finish in the top 5, so maybe he can win it. But Seth the Merchant, 1-versus-1 battle, no draft help whatsoever. And on the outside, Seth the Merchant's trying to clear Rod Flagg before Tommy Hall can save Rod Flagg. Unfortunately for him, Tommy Hall will get there quick enough, and Rod Flagg will have some help. No help for DeMerchant on the outside. Tommy Hall gets way loose behind him, trying to push him. They're going to split DeMerchant, although Rodney Wofford, his teammate, I don't think he'll have much of that. He's going to stay right behind him there. So as they continue to race down the backstretch, 3 wide, William Roberts Jr. tried to do something daring there, but it did not work out. He forgot to calculate in that Wofford and DeMerchant are teammates, and they're sure going to help each other.
He should have taken a better look at which numbers he was driving around, because it would have worked, but obviously your teammate's not going to leave somebody else out to dry with you, and unfortunately for the 09, they're going to go way in the wrong direction. Last time by the start-finish line, they were P5. They're going to be at least in 17th or even 18th position this time by. That quickly. Just a little bit of a mistake, and a lot of guys, they don't want to ride around in line. Like, if you're sitting right now as a 21 or 8 Rittenhour, it's going to be difficult for you to jump out to the outside, especially if you're maybe the 51 as well, Jason Altman's, that 3rd or 4th car in line down low. It's very difficult to make a move. You can't do anything. If you're on the bottom, you're stuck there, and you're basically just a part of the train. The most active position we've seen all night is 2nd, because they have liked to jump out of line, leave that leader out to dry, and take a spot from him. But a lot of drivers aren't content with riding around. They try to make something happen like we saw the 09 do, and it did not work, and he did indeed drop from a top 5 to 18th position, and nearly now falling off of the lead draft, which could be terrible news for that team if this green flag stretch continues. We have 6 cars up on the outside line, everybody else down low, an elite lap pack that sits 17 deep, and it does look like that 09 is slowly starting to fall off the back end of him.
Tough for him, as he is going to have to fall all the way back here. Now we have Seth the Merchant taking over the league. Wofford probably going to stay with him. I don't really see Seth ditching Wofford, but he's not going to have to. They both clear Rod Flagg. Those two go in the top spots. Wicked Autosports hitting their name in the hat here early on, as we have had a good start to the races for especially that team more than anyone else. So as they start pushing each other, now we have on the outside Paul Servant and Dana Osborne in the Dewshine machine. They're trying to take over the lead, and well, they have help a-coming, because here come the 2 Hanrick boys, Mark Jorgensen Jr. and Josh Hanner. They're trying to make big things happen here early in this one. Great news for those guys as they start coming through the front here, as Josh Hanner, looking to the outside, is going to think better of it, dips down low, and these guys just trying to figure out who's going to lead this race. Good, strong run by these guys. No one wrecking, no one doing anything really too dangerous here, just a whole lot of good racing. Now Paul Servant trying to take the lead. Paul Servant in the Oreo machine. I mean, Paul Servant has to be one of the few guys in this race that is not from America. And I mean, in this elite, actually, Evan, as I look through the entry list, he's the only guy in this race that's not from America, and he just took over the top spot, and he said, Dana Osborne, I'm not waiting for you, and he is going to take the lead for Team Canada.
Yeah, fellow Canuck to myself goes to the top spot. This lead draft now, again, 17 strong. We got 3 guys that we'll call stragglers. Chad Keene now working with William Roberts Jr. He was working with Leach, but after the 09 machine slid back, he kind of left Elliott out to dry. So now the 42 is going backwards. He'll find himself at the 3rd pack, which is now 3 seconds on back, and takes up about we'll say P18 or so, maybe P20, all the way through about P27. So you got that main draft up there, and then a couple of smaller packs towards the back that, again, if this goes green, I don't think you're going to be able to catch the guys up front if they continue to run as fast as they're doing. They're still banking, and again, we still have caution flags possibility, green flag pit stops, which if we see those, that could make or break a race by all means. But how about that 8 back to the top 2 now, as Dana Osborne, who pushed that 85 car through, gave Paul Servant the lead not all that long ago. is able to get the job done up high, and Seth the Merchant again continues to squeeze that number 32 Energizer Batter Chevrolet in spots that you really don't think it would fit in. He'll tuck in line in third position and give just another car to that inside lane. Right now, nobody challenging up high inside the top four. Let's see what that 88 machine can do. It's Jorgensen with help from Hanner.
You want his Jorgensen and Hanner coming to the outside. Talking about Seth the Merchant again. If you want to talk about the best driver overall in iSuper Speedway, you might not say Seth the Merchant. But if you want to talk about the probably most talented driver, you're probably going to talk about Seth the Merchant. Is now for the lead goes that Douchine machine. Paul Servant puts a block down, does not allow Dana Osborne to make a move as Mark Jorgensen still comes around the outside. But, Seth the Merchant's really impressed me in the short time in this league. He's smart. He knows where he needs to make the moves. He knows how to save a car. And he knows how to drive himself and handle himself in the front. Seth the Merchant, probably one of the most talented drivers as of late in this league. It's been a whole lot of fun to watch him go at it with these boys as he goes to the inside of Osborne. Osborne is going to be trying to take out he's going to try to take the lead on the outside lane. Good job there for the number 8. Dana Osborne doing a fine job. Now it's going to be the 2 Dale Earnhardt Jr. theme machine trying to take the lead over. As Josh Hanner says, you can have fun with that, Jorgie. I'm going to the inside. And, don't be too surprised if Jorgensen follows suit, but he will not. He's going to stick with his friend Dana until he finds that hole.
Things spread out through the travel. We go 3 wide as the number 29 to Tommy Hall. He kind of goes a little bit closer to the outside retaining wall than you might like, just trying to let a couple of guys get on through. That allows Rod Flagg, who's working with the 21 right now for the second, to move up on the outside. Right there, you're going to see that 28 machine who was involved in an incident earlier in this event, sliding backwards in a very tough position for Shane McEachin. He is the last car in the lead lap. No longer. He'll go to a lucky dog spot. He will have to fight, though. Sean Turner may have an advantage over him because that number 36 machine is in the draft. McEachin needs to kind of find a spot in line. So as we all battle inside of the top 10, inside of the top 20, there's a fight going on for what could be a very crucial position of the lucky dog spot. Again, there's now 2 machines, 1 lap down. Corey Henry, unfortunately, is 2 laps down in that Bud Light Platinum entry. Again, he had some sort of a simulator issue, stopped on the apron, had to take a tow to pit road, is now back out on track. And then to this point in 42nd, our only retiree so far, Michael Lathrop, is no longer in this race. That team is behind the wall early on in this event. So everybody down low, and now everybody jumps up high, and once again, Paul Servant gets lost of old friends. The 88 machine tags on with the Merchant, tags off the 7 of Wofford. It's 3 cars to the high side, and they all leave that 85 down low. You saw the 7 there. Wofford wanted to get in line, Petey, because they knew probably that 3rd machine's not going to be able to get clear. Ran out of room after Hanner showed up, and he may get stuck up high if these guys drop down low. Looks like they're bringing him with them. 3 cars going to pass Paul Servant up high.
Unexpected turn of events here, so that's going to happen, and Paul Servant's going to keep falling because the 4th car is coming, Josh Hanner, and unfortunately, I don't think Hanner's going to get there, and Wofford's just going to have to make the smart decision here. Come down in front of the number 85. He tried to help Hanner for all he was worth, but wasn't a whole lot he could do there, so Hanner might fall back, but the fans are on their feet, and they are clapping away because the fan favorite Mark Jorgensen Jr. has taken over the lead in that number 88 machine, and he is doing it good right now, and he is blocking the 32 all over the place. He's liking the lead at Talladega right now, and he wants to make like the 88 in real life and win this race. So he is still up there blocking that number 32. He is following Seth the Merchant everywhere. All he is doing right now is driving in his mirror. Mark Jorgensen, this, in my time of watching iSuper Speedway, I don't think I've ever seen anyone mirror drive quite like Jorgensen is right now. And Seth the Merchant slips into another tight hole. That was close there. But Jorgensen currently controlling both lines using the mirror.
In the 32, again, you have a spotter, but you got to think some of that is just checking the mirrors and hoping that it works. And we have seen this kind of aggressive strategy, something that we've seen out of a guy like a Brandon Chaburko that Seth the Merchant really, and we talked about him, and you said him as well, that he's not here to just ride around. He's here to race, he's here to be competitive, and he's here to win. He's already in the championship. He has nothing to gain by a 2nd place finish, by a 3rd place finish. He's in the chase. He just wants hardware, and you can tell that that is the mentality that he is driving with right now as he sits in 2nd. However, again, it's these top 4, top 5. Throw Servant into the mix as well. They continue to swap things out. Both the 88, the 32, the 7, and 24. Packs the 85 up high. Now the 7 and the 24 trying to do the same thing back to Jorgensen and back to the Merchant down low. Do they get any support up there by a guy like maybe that 8 of Dana Osborne? We'll have to see, but it's everybody down low and 2 lone cars up high. They better make it work or they're going way backwards.
On new here, Talladega is a track all dedicated to a momentum here. Really how good you get the draft is now. Wofford's trying to take away the lead with the number 24 of Josh Hanner. Hanner has had a strong start to this one here, so on the outside lane, those guys are trying to do something, will not work for them, as now they are going to stall up just a little bit. Mark Jorgensen looking to take back the top spot, as he will, and he's just going to try to take this thing back in total control, but Rodney Wofford not quite letting that happen. He wants to take it over, and he has a whole lot of work to do before he can do that. A couple of guys showing their faces early in this one include Dan Harrington in the ATT machine. He has really been coming on strong lately. This race could be a breakthrough event for him. In all possibility that could happen. Another guy that really I think is doing a good job so far is Chad Keene. I expect to see him possibly show his face as well in that 96. As now we see Rodney Wofford in the outside lane with a lot of help from Dana Osborne. Does he clear Jorgensen? Yes, he does, and he's going to bring Hanner with him. Almost. Will Jorgensen let it happen? Yes, he will. He lets his teammate in. New leader, Rodney Wofford from the Stars fell in Alabama, 250.
Wofford, after starting on pole, goes back to the top spot. He leads over Josh Hanner, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. and company. Single file inside the top four as we take a moment and step away from the microphones here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Wofford sat on the pole, slid back a little bit earlier on. He's back on point. The Stars fell on Alabama 250. We'll be right back live on LSRTV.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember, out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
Back live as this long green flag stint continues from the Talladega Superspeedway. For the stars fell on Alabama 250 on LSRTV with the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. And PD, we're starting to get to the point where those green flag pit stops are going to be coming up very, very soon. Race control just reminding the drivers some of the protocols for that. And I was going to say that it was the single file freight train that was starting to take over. It was up until about half a lap ago, where we got a charge on the outside, and it's headed by the number 8 Do Shine Mobile, and he'll get some help to Merchant to the high side as well.
Excitement here from Talladega. They're making it happen up there. These guys right now all giving it their 100% effort, knowing that pit stops are waiting in the distance. As we now go by a lap machine, Carson Johns also 3 wide up the middle in the back there. Paul Servant got very, very exciting as now we have a lead change, and it is Seth the Merchant up top. I think for a second that Dushine machine was there, but he will actually fall back now behind the 88 of the Mark Jorgensen Jr. Expect all these guys to, be getting their service here momentarily. I mean, it has to be just a matter of about the lap 50 mark when these guys will come down pit road. Green flag pit stops can create controversy at play tracks. Expect a whole lot of excitement when they do come down.
We look now, the lead lap cars have fallen to 36, do have now a 37th all the way through 40th position. Carson G. John Tomaso, Sean Turner, Shane McEachin, Tony Fenn. 1 lap in the negative, so the fight for the lucky dog continues. Corey Henry is still 2 laps down, and Lathrop is still the only machine that has dropped out of the race. That's not the first time we've seen Dana Osborne stuck up on the high side. We saw it when we had that 3-car freight train go around Servant there to the Trial not all that long ago. The 8 was the 4th car in line to tag along in that. Somehow was able to sneak through. That time it did not work after Seth the Merchant showed no remorse and no sign of trying to hang on to that outside. Give a little bit more time maybe to Dana there to maybe get down in line. As soon as he was clear, he was gone, and evidently the 8 machine, you can see he's able to use some side draft and not get past as fast maybe, but he's already back to 5th, now 6th, and it'll be 7th position before he's able to duck back in behind Elliott Leach, which is a top 7 breakaway, trying to separate themselves just a little bit from the rest of this lead pack, but without much success back here inside of the top 15 still. How about an outside charge, trying to get a couple guys moving forward. Josue Ramirez up on the outside. He's got help from Paul Servant, and just as I say, that Servant goes a little bit too high, ends up to the outside lane, goes backwards, and that run will stall out because they lost connection.
Single file through the top 10 right now. Like you said, first side-by-side battle way back here. Matt Pelletier, once again, he's still looking for a sponsor. No, apparently no one called him last week. Contact him at zepancake@gmail.com for sponsorship opportunities as he runs the 16th. Behind him, Kent Connolly in the 088, trying to make it happen on the outside, but to the inside goes that 25, Corey Henry. Kent Connolly's ran every race that we've ever done here on LSRTV, and I don't even think he's had a top 5 when we've done it. I mean, he's just had bad luck. He's been so fast on so many occasions, but the luck has just killed him. And he is looking to get that elusive, at least podium. He wants an interview at long last, but he'll be trying to get that here tonight as we still have a lot of laps to go. And he's sitting in a pretty decent position at the moment, though, as now we look at this lead pack. And I'm really, the car I'm looking at right now is in 6th, Elliott Leach. He fell all the way back to around 30th at one point. He has worked his way back to the field. He is back up in this lead pack trying to make a statement as we have Ramon Evans rejoining the racetrack after pit service. This time by, I'm hearing that a lot of guys will be coming down pit road from towards the front. Expect a whole lot of action when they come on pit road. Green flag pit stops at Talladega usually are not the least of exciting because, I mean, coming out of pit road, they're trying to go 200 to 55 real quick, and that usually either ends in a wreck or a whole lot of guys passing a whole lot of other guys. Like, you'll see these guys just diving into pit road, making daredevil moves, and sometimes they work, other times you just go in the grass.
Pit stop coming up, and now caution flag. Just as we were all getting single filed out, I was going to note that the that lead pack was really starting to separate because they were trying to get in a position that they would be able to be, successfully hit the pit lane with. Ray Rittenauer's torn up. This incident is going to happen down in corners number 3 and 4. And you would probably, as the replay goes up now, first car that gets turned around is Chad Keene, and it's contact in the left rear. Not the first time we've seen that tonight. Chad Keene was on the pit lane, PD. He was forced down by himself. He was one of the drivers that possibly had stayed out in that number 96 machine. He stayed out possibly on that first yellow, okay? So he had a little bit less fuel. He had to come down pit road, got back out, was slow, and I mean, he just got run over. Meanwhile, on the pit lane, contact with William Roberts Jr. and Ray Rittenauer. Both of those are drivers that had pitted the lap prior to our leaders as we were following. But yeah, the 96 just a little bit slow in the middle lane, and a side-by-side battle comes up, and the 75 tried to make it work and just ran him over.
Richard Holiday got really lucky he didn't get involved in that one. That was close for him, but yeah, tough break there for Chad Keene. He's a really good kid and a really good driver. I always like to see him out on the racetrack. He's a very upbeat guy, always out there giving his 100% effort week in and week out. Like to see him out there. Hopefully Chad Keene can recover. He's also in bad need of a good run. Guys in this race that I look at as veterans of this league who are really in need of a good run include Jimmy Todd, him, as we see all these leaders coming down pit road now for their first set of stops. I mean, him, Chad Keene, Jimmy Todd, Kent Connolly, all those guys have been running out here for so long with us, and it just appears as though they've never got the good run. Except the Merchant misses the stall.
Way over. The 24 again, Hanner, still overshooting. That's back-to-back times.
Wofford missed. Everyone really missed their stall. Like,
Wofford
honestly,
not even close. He ended up in one stall over.
Yeah,
Same with Elliott Leach.
Honestly, some of these guys, I think it's planned almost. Not saying that it's planned, but like a couple of them, I'm not saying all of them, some of them are just not getting the pit road good. Some of them, I think, are making it planned out so they can get closer to their teammates maybe, but other ones, they're just flat out missing their pit stalls like Leach and Wofford there. That was just
I don't know why you drive into the fence if you're trying to slow down. Just sit in your stall before you go.
I'm not saying he was trying. I'm saying like the Hanners that will just sit there for a minute and then go backwards. He might be trying to. But
you got some sneaky moves going down is what you're predicting.
I'm saying that we have some guys trying to get close to their teammates here, but then on the other hand, we have the Ronnie Woffords who drive it into the inside wall going like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't know if we spilled oil, but that was like at least 50% of the cars overshot it, and they overshot it by a lot. It wasn't even
so
close.
bad. Honestly, in all of my days of doing racing broadcasts, and I can honestly say I'm probably like close to about 150 broadcasts here. I'm no Evan here, but honestly, I think that might have been the worst cycle of stops I've ever seen. I don't think that's an understatement. That was just really bad. The top 10 guys, I think at least 8 of them missed their stall.
Well, I don't know if there was oil down there. This is actually something that we talked about last season. iRacing bumped up the pit road speed at a lot of these tracks by maybe 5 miles an hour. And in the first race after that, maybe the second race after that, you can include that also. There was a lot of guys having issues getting them slowed down.
You know what's sad?
A lot of it is you see somebody drive it in hard. You're like, okay, I'm going to drive it in hard, and then just like the guy in front of you hits the wall, you're following him. You've hit the wall, following him. I guess same idea. He drives it in hard. I'm going to do the same thing because I don't want to lose track position, and you both overshoot your stall.
The saddest part about what you just said, though, Evan, I was thinking about it and comprehended in my head. You know, you said there's oil on pit road, and obviously there's not oil in iRacing yet, so that's not an issue. You know, these guys don't even have that. They, just straight up missed their stalls. There was nothing stopping them from getting into their stalls. They just did not slow down good enough.
I mean, 55 miles an hour, it's still pretty good speed, but I mean, you're running 200 plus under green, but lock them up, slide into the stall, and it has shuffled things up. It is going to put Rod Flagg to the top spot right now. That number 26 machine was running back in just outside of the top 10. He pitted by himself before the caution, and what do you know, he ends up on top of the board.
So this is going to be good for him from Talladega, and I am really excited to see Rod Flag out front. He was out front earlier. He will be trying to obviously maintain that lead, so good move there for Rod Flag. He takes advantage of a little bit of good opportunity there for him, as we will be getting ready for another restart here from Alabama. And, well, I guess the biggest storyline that we got from the last 50 laps is pit road's been a big issue tonight.
Yeah, we said pit road under green is exciting and it's challenging, but I guess equally as so under caution. We will sit with an updated number, 37 drivers on the lead lap. Jared Haggerty, Austin Carver, Tony Fenn, all getting the wave by around the pace car as they were had come down the pit lane but did not lose a lap, so they'll be able to maintain lead lap status. But yeah, typically we would have been talking about, and again, there was a couple of people that came down pit road. Rod Flag was one of them. Talked about some of the contact we saw. William Roberts Jr. involved when we had some stragglers hit the pit lane. We were following the leaders because we were waiting for that big bulk to come down the pit lane. It was going to happen that lap of the caution, if not the lap after, because they went from having 17 cars within about a second and a half of each other to within 3 seconds. They were all spread out. They wanted to have a relatively clean shot. Now, they're still, lined up single file within half a car length of each other, so it's still not easy, but it's a lot easier than trying to hit the pit lane too wide off the racetrack as the lights go off for the pace car. So they were getting ready for it. Caution flag flies, and Rod Flag, who you think would be coming down pit road by himself, going back out with no help, would be really shooting himself in the foot. It ends up working, and that's how that Cheerios Ford Fusion is back on top. Tommy Hall now finds himself, he's back in second, and then we have DeMerchant, Hanner, Altman's men, Giratano, Osborne, Leach, and Hooks throughout the top 10. Drivers that were up there inside of the top 10, top 15 before the caution flag.
Yeah, and well, so we're going to get ready for yet another restart here, and you guys have been lucky. We haven't had too many wrecks tonight. We've had just a good amount of them, I'd say, as we have Rod Flag, League Administrator. After a long and controversial week of doing work, figuring things out, he is just chilling right now, eating some Cheerios, I would assume, from position number 1. He has this field at point, and he is going to be trying to lead him down for another restart here. We have about one pit stop left in this thing, and it's going to be the money stop. And well, I have to say that normally, the money stop, especially like a track like this, you come down pit road, take gas, and no tires. Well, in this race in specifics, I'm going to have to say that the money stop's going to be a huge deal here, considering the struggles that people have shown. I mean, you're going to have to hit your pit stall here if you want to win this race, and sadly, that could be what determines the outcome. Although as we round turns 3 and 4, the pace car is getting ready to pull off, and it will be Rod Flag who leads them down with Tommy Hall on the outside again. Those two, their strategy has really worked out well for both of them so far in this one, and as the pace car does pull off the racetrack, we're getting ready to go green here for the 4th time tonight as they round the tri-oval. Green flag about to wave for Rod Flag, number 26.
It's been quite a little bit since we dropped the green flag to start this one. We get set to go back going, and Tommy Hall, the number 29, got going. He goes up to the outside lane, and he's going to drop all the way back on the outside after being on the front row. Looks like he missed the shift. He jumped the start, I think. Maybe got caught sleeping, but a little bit too far, and then accidentally downshifted when we actually went. That's what he's saying over the radio. May have been one of those strategy conspiracies you're talking about, Pete, to get back with somebody, but he was really off speed. He'll drop way, way, way back, and that's going to give the inside a clear advantage down the back straightaway. 3 car lengths to the good, 3.5, make it 4 if you include Giratano, who's pushing the 51 of Jason Altman's. Got a little bit close with Josh Hanner there. Behind them slotting in line is the 5 of Tanner Mann. The Hennerick cars joining the top 10 here. First time we've seen the 5 up here this evening. Tanner Mann doing a great job coming off of a couple of rough weeks from 37th up to 6th right now, but this time by 40 laps to go at Talladega. We're past halfway, and we're on the downhill slope of things, which means the entertainment and the excitement factor only going to continue to go up and up for the meantime, rather, for quarter number 2. Much like we saw at the very long end of that green flag stretch, a single file freight train is the top 12.
Yeah, just want to go back to Tanner Mann. He's almost a forgotten Hanner car. You always talk about, the 24 of Josh Hanner or Mark Jorgensen Jr. in the 88, or the I almost forgot the other teammate out with 48, Josh Ball. He's usually towards the front. Tanner Mann in the 5 machine. Almost like the real-life Hendrick cars, just like Casey Kane. Tanner Mann in the 5 is usually the forgotten one. He's usually around in races, around the top 10, but he's never usually a factor, it seems, though. And that just lets people forget about him. So he is out there, though, right now, fighting for every position, doing a fine job at the moment. The first side-by-side battle we do see on the racetrack right now is Robbie Roy in that number 14, getting a lot of help from his teammate Richard Holliday. He wants to win the I-5 bonus tonight. Richard Holliday trying to push him to the front. They're making a lot of leeway here as they head towards the front. They just passed a whole line of cars, and the 14 and 03 don't look like they have any intention of stopping anytime soon. Where do they pick up more help? 2 cars can only do it for so long, and here comes Greg Hooks in the 5 as they are now going to have help from Richard Holliday and Robbie Roy with a huge run. This could get nasty.
Yeah, Tanner Mann bobbling, trying to stay on the nose of Greg Hooks' number 98 Aaron's Dream Machine. Let's go 3 wide. Teammates to the outside. Just as we do that, caution flag flies behind them. Wrecking to the trial. Here comes Jeff Figlin. He spins through. Multiple other cars involved. Jared Haggerty. Once again, the tough luck continues for the number 23 team. Caution flag will fly after things. We thought they were getting hairy there. Things got real hairy out of 4. It all started with that 38 getting turned off the corner. PD3 play is going to go up now, but once Jeff Figlin got turned around, it went downhill from there very quickly.
And I mean, this is like really a big turn of events here, as we have had a big, decent-sized wreck here, and this really will change the factors of this race currently. So as that does happen, that will bring us under the 5th caution. Actually, this will just be the 4th caution tonight. So we will obviously be staying up to date on what has happened. So actually, I think this will give us our first opportunity to talk to our supporter, Matt Bontempi, because Matt, you were involved in that wreck towards the end. Can you take us through what happened there from your perspective?
Oh man, that was just, I guess, hard race in front of us. I haven't seen the replay, so I'm not sure, but it looked like they were 2 and 3 wide, and from my perspective, I was following Frank Busiala, and I just had nowhere to go. I was on the brakes. Ron Thompson behind me was on the brakes. We just had nowhere to go, and everyone just piled in. When they wreck into the middle of the track, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, Matt, that's for sure. Obviously, you're going to use your reset now. What's the strategy moving forward as we're in the last stretch for this race?
Honestly, I see it this way. It's time to go to the front. Like, it's time to drop the hammer, because I'm either going to die back here in another wreck like that, or I'm going to die trying. And I like to go out in a blaze of glory if I go out, I can tell you that much.
Matt, got to ask you, with the revised finishing order that I guess changed a couple of times over the last week, a lot of drivers felt like you should have won it. You let it out of the corner and ended up you with a 3rd, then you ended up with a 2nd, and then for a couple of days you were the winner and you were going to be in this championship, and now you find out that you're going to be credited once again with a 3rd place finish. How do you bounce back from something like that where, you know, you go a whole week thinking you're the winner, and then you come into this event, next thing you know, you're right back in the shark pit where you need a win to fight for the championship?
Yeah, you know, the whole thing is that as much as I was excited to start, once I saw Raj say that the penalties had been appealed, I was pretty sure that one of them would at least end up getting turned around and I wouldn't get the W. So I tried to not treat it like I had the W. I mean, like, it's heartbreaking to, out of turn 3 and 4, see it and not get it, and then be given it and then lose it. But it's one of those things you just got to put behind you. You just got to keep on digging, and you go back into that shark pit and you be the bigger shark. It's a shark eat shark world out here, and you just got to go get it, and that's the fun of it, man. I've got, what, 4 straight top 4s now? We're gonna dig it. We're gonna get another top 4, and if not that, we're gonna get a W. I feel like I'm due, and I feel like it could be right here, so that's just how I see it. You just bounce back and keep going.
Impressive.
I like that analogy, the shark eat shark world. I can't say I've heard that one. We have less than 40 to go, Matt. This is now kind of in the range of our B main and A main lap, so you're back in 28th position. I'm assuming you still feel like this race is well capable of being won?
Yeah, 100%. Until the checkered flag waves, it's capable of being won, in my opinion. But realistically, I think I can get to the front. You've seen it in the past with me. I mean, I never transfer through the heats in the normal nights, so I'm always starting from mid-pack to the back. This is when I do my best, I think, through the adversity. And you talk about things like with not having the win and whatnot. Well, I see that as adversity. I can fight, and I can dig the best I can.
Well, Matt, as you're our in-race supporter tonight, I mean, normally we bring up the in-race supporter, and, you know, for the night, they're technically part of our broadcast crew, so if you want the fans to know a few, like, fun facts about you, what would those be, Matt?
I play the saxophone and several other instruments. I'm a huge Matt Kenseth fan, in case you couldn't tell by the paint scheme. And,
Are you a Crafton fan too,
so
then,
ladies, go ahead. But no, I'm not a Crafton fan.
Oh, okay. If he was, I was going to tell you he just won the truck race, but never mind.
Wow, Evan,
He
if you
did.
were recording that and watching this, well, GG, Evan, and you just ruined everyone's night.
Come on, Evan, you can't do that to Petey.
You guys got to stay up to date on everything. Matt, we'll let you get back down. You're going to be 27th. Anybody you want to give a shout out to real quick?
I got to give a shout out to Marcus Lambert, my teammate, who's yelling in another TeamSpeak I forgot to mute. So that's going to be fun. Marcus, if you're listening, move me to AFK, okay, bud?
All right, best of luck here, Matt.
Thank you guys so much.
So now we get set again to get staged up for a restart. The lights are still on top of the pace car. Rod Flag, though, this number 26 machine, has had a keen act of being able to find himself at a spot that puts him in the number one position multiple times tonight, depending on wherever he was really on that run. This is a machine that is still trying to get locked in to this chase for the championship. The lights remain on the pace car once again. So let's break down to you right now what the championship looks like, okay? So we do have drivers that have won. You win and you're in. Ronnie Wofford is in via winning, really sweeping our Daytona Speed Weeks. If you don't remember that, that happened earlier on in the year. He won his respective duel. The shootout as well, but that did not count for qualification. And in the 500, Elliott Leach won his qualifier race. He won the duel. He's in. Seth the Merchant with Feature 4. Brandon Chaburko did win Feature 5. He has been suspended from iRacing. He is no longer eligible to compete for the championship. That name gets crossed off the list. Jason Altmans will win Feature Race 6. And then again, 1 week ago, really just, I guess, 1 day ago, the win handed to Frank Busilia. He wins Feature Race 7. So Busilia, Altmans, DeMerchant, Leach, and Wofford are in this championship. You look at the standings, the only way to get in without a win is the top 5 in points. Top 5 in points right now, Seth the Merchant, Robbie Roy, Joshua Hanner, Josh Ball, and Jason Altmans. Altmans, I believe, and as well you got Seth up there, but there's about 3 guys inside of the top 5 right now that would get a chase berth via points if it were to end today. However, it's not that easy after tonight. Still 3 races to go before we slim down this field to whatever the chase number is going to be.
Pace coming up, that's going to be a huge deal. All these guys obviously pumped for that. They're pumped for the final 30-plus laps here from Talladega as well. If you came down pit road under this caution, odds are you are good to make it till the end, so that will throw a wrench in everyone's strategy here, and we will definitely see the outcome of this one. Now it's about driving your way to the front and making it happen here big. The stars are shining on some drivers, and as we get ready for this finish, the lights are out, and it's going to be an amazing race. I mean, technically the lights aren't on because Talladega, not in real life or on iRacing, has a night version, which would be totally awesome.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty neat, although I feel like bad things would happen, especially in the first race in real life. Like, we would see some weird stuff.
Well,
but
we see weird stuff when we get, like, you know, like a night race at Daytona or like a full moon if we're doing some other stuff. Imagine a night race.
This is like an
moon at
Indian
Daytona.
burial ground or
Yeah,
some
that's
crap.
a bad combination. They're probably not allowed to do that for that reason.
Like, the soul
Which
of
is
all
true.
the Indians.
We're not just
like,
we're not
possess
just
us.
saying that. This racetrack is legitimately on an Indian burial ground. It's a true
Plus-
story.
Plus, there was like a World War II military air base in the infield. Like, there was a lot of bad stuff happening here. I'm not sure if I would want to like make the souls angry if you believe that type of stuff.
Oh, the superstitious. Everybody in the infield here, camp it out. Just watch your back here after the race tonight. The lights now are off. We get set to go back at it. Still a lot of cars. We still have an entire A-main field of cars on the lead lap. We still have more of them in the race, but just off the lead lap. 37 cars on the lead lap all the way back. Derek Walker, William Roberts Jr. is 38th. He is now behind the wall. 39th behind the wall, Tommy Hall. Ray Rittenauer, 40th behind the wall. Josue Ramirez, and then Michael Lathrop. So all 5 drivers that are off of the lead lap no longer in competition tonight. they are done. Again, a lot of drivers that we see going to be maybe 15th on back, 20th on back. They've already used up that quick fix that they're going to get. You gotta watch that and try to spare those very sparingly if you want to be able to survive. Still quite a long ways to go. Restart going to be coming up at lap 62. That's 33 laps to go. And it is, once again, for about the third or fourth time tonight, Rod Flagg going to be bringing that Ford Fusion across through the Triangle. The Pop Secret number 26 Ford Fusion. Cheerios on board that ride this evening. Get set to lead us back for another American Ethanol restart. He'll have help from the Geek Squad, rather. 51 Ford, 2 Fords down low, 2 Chevys up high. Green flag.
On the outside line, you will notice the number 2 of Donnie Giarratano, one of the few cars who still has basic iRacing paint scheme, and week in and week out, that's what pops out to me when you look at that 2 machines. Now Elliott Leach dives down to the inside as Giarratano tries to help his teammate DeMerchant. Giarratano, the forgotten Wicked Autosports driver, but he is wicked fast at points, and he is trying to push the 32 to the top as Rod Flagg leads over Jason Oltmans. Oltmans a winner this season. He is just sticking his car down there in third right now as DeMerchant comes up the outside, and he is trying to make it happen. DeMerchant, for him, a relatively boring race. He hasn't had to save the car like he usually does, but he has done a good job at driving it as these guys are all out there making it happen right now. That 32 looking stout on the outside lane. He is racing door to door, side by side with number 24 of Josh Hanner. Hanner really doing a good job down there. I mean, Josh Hanner has had a good race up to this point, really stuck around. He could be a factor in the closing laps if he is still up there, but we still have not seen the notorious huge one yet. We've seen a couple, I guess you could categorize as big ones. We're still waiting for the huge one to happen, though. These guys all try to get organized, and everyone's going to go around Rod Flagg this time by, as there is a whole bunch of guys going on the outside lane. It will be probably the top 2, if not the top 3, getting clear. Elliott Leach wants to jump on board with the train. Will it work? Possibly, as they're going to ditch Jason Oltmans as well. This is all about getting Josh Hanner to the front, it appears right now.
And it's 2 up high versus 1 down low. How do you think this one is going to work? Give it to the Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet at the front of the field. Josh Hanner going to go back to the point to be trailed by Seth DeMerchant. The 32 machine now back again into a top 2 spot. Elliott Leach with the assist from Donnie Giarratano. Again in that Wrangler number 2 Chevy. Going to be able to push Leach to a top 3 spot. So Leach, who was at one point 37th position after getting stuck up high, going way back, way early on, now back up to third, nearly back to where he started, which was second on the outside of the front row. The 2 now with him for the moment, a top 4 breakaway. That's not going to last long. The next set's going to be coming at these guys, 51 and the 26, and then those 2 teammates, PD again, Robbie Roy and Richard Holiday. Holiday, another driver that went way back earlier on in this race. They're working together. We've seen them be inside of the top 10, right there around P10, and maybe about inside the top 15 for the last couple of laps, especially the last good bit of that green flag stint. They're up high. They weren't able to do anything with it last time. This time, it looks like they're gaining some momentum.
And man, as these guys trying to make it happen, they're really making this fun to watch as all these guys race around the speedway. Now Elliott Leach looks to the outside with Giarratano. Giarratano, Elliott, that's not a smart move right there because Giarratano is Seth DeMerchant's teammate. I mean, Elliott, this is some things that you guys just have to know out there right now. But Elliott Leach has help coming quick out of nowhere. His 2 teammates, Robbie Roy and Richard Holiday, coming to save the day. I had absolutely no idea that those 2 were even in the top 10, and they just came out of nowhere. They saw their teammates struggling, and they're like, hey, Elliott, we'll give you a little bit of a helping hand right there. And Seth DeMerchant wants to ride the train of fun, but will he have a similar result that Donnie Giarratano had? We're about to find out because these guys are racing. No, they will help DeMerchant try to get around Josh Hanner right now. And we have a lot of Wicked Autosports and a lot of Big Block Motorsports towards the front right now. Those 2 teams are occupying most of the top 5 spots as we still have a great race on their hands. And Seth DeMerchant going to take over the lead. Does he wait on Leach or does he go down low? He's just going to go down low, but that's fine because I think that's what Leach, Roy, and Holiday wanted.
So we go from 4 up high, 3 down low, to 4 down low, 3 up high. The inside now with the advantage, and they continue to play this game of chess where they all kind of pay attention and they all play nice for a little bit. They all go down low, and as soon as one person goes for it, there's no lack of support. We see a lot of the time in this series in A mains and B mains PD. We'll get single filed out down to the final 4, down to the final 4, 3 laps and 2 laps, and we talk about how Akashi can end this. Who's going to go first? You'll see somebody jump out of line. Doesn't work. They go back to 9th because nobody helps them. Tonight it seems to be that everybody wants to go with everybody. Haven't really seen anybody not be able to find help tonight. It looks like a lot of these guys working together. The 42, the 14, the 03. How about that 3-car train up high?
Impressive here, as all these guys right now doing a fine job, and just a fabulous race up to this point as those three trying to get done. Robbie Roy goes high. He is going to have to rely on Richard Holiday to help him. That's going to really end their run here. Donnie Guarantano trying to get involved in the party, but Robbie Roy gets in there quick and says, hey, you don't want to help us earlier, bud. Don't try to get involved now, as they are going to close the door on him real quick there, and that outside charge is trying to make it happen up there. Really impressive job from all these guys right now, just racing around the speedway as Guarantano gets real close to Leach there. Those guys doing a good job down low. Up high, they're doing everyone right now. Just a whole lot of good, hard, side-by-side quality racing going on right now. Richard Holiday just seems he cannot stick to his two teammates, though. They are just pulling away from him. There's not a whole lot he can do, and he is falling back quickly due to it. Richard Holiday in troubles, but Elliott Leach is now side-by-side for the top spot with Seth the Merchant. Does he take it, or does the Merchant hang on for another lap? Robbie Roy is going to have to really ride him off the corner. I just don't see him having the run to do it. They're actually going to fall back a little bit. That's going to hurt BBM charge on the outside.
And again, you get the momentum, then you lose the momentum. It's going to continue to go back and forth throughout the evening. However, now, though, really getting into a situation where we're starting to come down to the end of this event. You sit right now, how about 16? That's the magic number of the lead group. They all sit within 0.8 of a second. Everybody up on the outside. There's 2 of them up front, the 42 and the 14. There's 3 of them at the back of the train, with the 03, the 5, and the 45. They're going to eventually find each other, and then they're going to get going. But again, the outside, if you pinch, you can get a side track, you can get going. You start to see how that 42 is starting to ride on that white dash line down there in the corner. Earlier in the race, they were above it. And outside lane Pete is going to continue to sneak down, trying to pinch a little bit more, get a little bit more side draft. That's when things can get real fun, or almost even real ugly real quick, but that's what you expect when you come down to the end of this one. This time by will take lap number 70, 25 laps to go.
Yeah, man, it's just some quality stuff going on right now. All these guys, except a few of them, I do believe are good on gas at this point in time in the race. Expect a whole lot of different strategies, though, moving forward. Here comes that charge on the outside again, this time with help from Jorgensen. Jorgensen really helping these guys get up to the top spot, as now they're going to be going for it. A whole lot of extra help in that outside line right now. A whole lot of fun it looks like that these boys are having. They've been going at it hard since the drop of the green flag. No need to stop now, and they really haven't wrecked that awful lot. 94 laps in this race. They are almost 74 in. There will just be 20 laps to go momentarily, and we still have 37 of the original starters out there running around on the racetrack. And, well, I mean, I just have to say the drop-off hasn't been that bad. There's been a whole lot of guys being competitive.
And like I said, those guys up high that have found each other, and they have momentum. The more cars, the more speed, but really nothing's faster than the 2-car tango. Haven't seen a lot of engine issues tonight, which means that a lot of these drivers have been doing a great job of conserving their engines, maintaining air to the nose of those machines, and for a long race, not the easiest thing to do. A very important person in this lead picture that you're looking at is that number 24 car of Josh Hanner. He is pushing Seth the Merchant now. He's important because he can do what Seth has done about 2-3 times tonight, and that is leave the 32, jump up at the outside if he's able to. Obviously not now, because we're side by side throughout the top 8 with 4 rows up high and 4 rows down low. But you see the 24, he's got to get on the back bumper of the 32 now. You stay off, you keep air to the engine, you're fine. Once you see the challenge that's happening right now from Robbie Roy and Elliott Leach, you need to push Seth the Merchant if you want to be able to defend the spot. He can't get to him. He needs the 32 to drag the brakes a little bit. Can both those cars up high get clear? No, 42 does, and Leach will go down. The 14 to Robbie Roy left to fend for himself up high with Mark Jorgensen.
Those guys do it so much, especially with Robbie Roy and Elliott Leach. They'll do it more often. Typically, you'll see the 2 guys push each other at the top spot, and they'll slide down to the inside. But a lot of times you'll see Leach and Roy. This time I don't think it's going to work out for Roy whatsoever, as he's falling far to the back. But a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have one fall to the front of the inside line and one fall to the front of the outside line, and they'll strategically just kind of control both lanes and let no one pass them. And honestly, that's what won them a lot of races in the past, just doing that. But unfortunately for Roy, I think they've kind of learned their trick, and they're just kind of letting Roy fall to the back here. As now Leach is going to get freight trained. Oh man, everyone's going around Leach, no one on that inside line. Leach is a hated man for someone who doesn't do a whole lot of making people angry or causing wrecks.
They're leaving Robbie Roy too. All those teammates are getting left.
I mean, Elliott Leach is probably like the most hated driver in this league that I've like never seen cause a wreck. Like, it's just funny because every time he's on the racetrack,
Well, because they know he's good, so they want to get him back.
It's just funny though. I always found it funny about Leach because he's like always like, if you know, talking off the track, he's always like the most respectful guy. Everyone just hates racing with him.
Well, you can't say it's a bad strategy. Try to team up on somebody that's fast.
They're doing it bad.
Around him, and they're doing it together. The 32, the 24, the 2, the 88, the 7, and now the 51 with the 42's teammate of Robbie Roy trying to put the 42 back as well. Not sure if it'll work out as well at that time because, well, Rod Flagg, he's kind of supporting that number 42 Ford Fusion right now. He's behind him on the inside, so now he's got some help in Robbie Roy. 42 will let that machine in. Those are teammates now that they're back together. They might try to work, but now that leaves the 03 Richard Holiday, the odd man out of that group and that stable of cars. He'll now start to slide back on the outside, and he may have to try to find some assistance with the 51 of Jason Altmans, who equally in his own right needs another partner.
Yeah, and I expect Leach and Roy to make another run towards the front. It'll probably take him a while again, though, but that was just a tough break, though, now as we have 20 laps to go in this race, so those guys going to have to recover from that. Just a funny turn of events for both of them. I'm sure they'll recover from it, as now we see Mark Jorgensen going around a lap car here, the Reese's machine, number 4 of Derek Walker, as they go flying around him. And now it looks like Jorgensen really wants to take over this top spot. He has a lot of help from Rodney Wofford, and I'm sure Wofford knows the situation. He wants to get that 88 out front. But yeah, for right now, we have a whole bunch of different teammates. But really in this race, it's come down to 3 distinct teams. You have the Wicked Autosports guys with Wofford and the Merchant. You have the Hanrick guys with Hanner and up the middle. Robbie Roy is going to try to go up the middle. He will not go up the middle. And we have the 88 and the 24. Those are Hanrick machines. And we have Guarantano also with an Autosports machine. We have the 3 BBM cars, Matt Pelletier, Elliott Leach, and Robbie Roy. The team's really working together strong here in this race, more so than we've seen all season.
And outside the 88, the 7 as well. Do want to remind everybody, use our promotional code for a discount on a new iRacing subscription. If you're new to be joining the sim and whatnot, use the code when creating your membership, PR-2015 LSRTV. That'll give you 3 months of subscription plus the late model for just $12. That is $30 off retail price if you were to buy all of those individually. Again, PR-2015 LSRTV. One thing I can tell you, PD, is we are really now down getting into the nitty and gritty of it with inside of 18 laps to go. The outside's starting to get more and more aggressive. They're starting to pinch more and more, as we predicted, almost putting 2 cars in 1 lane of traffic down through quarter number 2. And now caution flag to the fly. Trouble behind them and a couple cars spinning. Kent Connolly, Derek Walker around as well. Caution flag is out.
Caution flag on the speedway. A late wreck in this race, to say the least, as we have under 20 laps to go. These guys are all going to get out of the rhythm. That great pack is going to be separated, and it is that Reese's machine who is appearing to have problems. Derek Walker in the 4 machine, already on pit road. Tough break for him. It all started well. Like we were talking about earlier, it was a really slow off-the-pace lap machine, and more often than not, you just get in the wrong place at the wrong time. As you guys see the replay now, like I said, it all started with, ironically, it started with the Alabama Crimson Tide machine and the Georgia Bulldogs machine. If you don't know a whole lot about American college football, those are extreme rivals on the field.
And that's quite the draft combo.
So as those two going at it there, I mean, I'm sure they're friends. They obviously both are fans of SEC football and whatnot. But yeah, it turned into a wreck, and well, the friendly rivalry between Alabama and Georgia got real dirty there as they went around, and Matt Bontempi really had nowhere to go in that one.
That's the left rear again. As that 16 was coming through the quarter, you saw a look at it. Kent Connolly got hit in the left rear, and he hooked that 20 machine up, the 20 machine with a heavy impact into the outside wall. And then again, it was right in front of the 4, who was an innocent victim in this for the most part, and then, you know, kind of ended up in a spot where, well, he had nowhere to go, kind of similar to the 20, just no reaction time. Derek Walker gets nailed. He goes up and over the 4 machine, obviously with that damage, and then Bontempi with such a hard hit that 20 actually got lodged inside the fence. and they had to come and bring the tow truck to get it outside of the safer barrier after he was caught up in the fencing, and we slowed them down for another caution flag. We are now within 20 laps to go at Talladega. We're going to step away for the final time during racing conditions from Lincoln, Alabama. We'll come back, and the race of the checkered flag is on, and the stars fell on Alabama 250.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
The lights are off on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car. Getting set for another American Ethanol restart that could be the final one tonight. It's going to be a restart with 13 laps to go in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Stars fell on Alabama 250, the second annual 94 lapper here at Talladega for round 8 in the Season 4 Championship. Alongside PDJ Zeller, myself, Evan Pasoko, Laura Lawson into production hauler. PD, it's been an interesting night so far at Dega. Long green flag stretches, pit road drama, a lot of guys dropping back early that have recovered late. The top 4 right now started at a single-digit starting position, so the cream rising back to the top, but they have challengers. Giratano right now sits up 26 spots to where he is right now. Could this be the final restart we see tonight? It is going to be Seth the Merchant, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Josh Hanner, Rodney Wofford, Donnie Giratano, Robbie Roy, Rod Flagg, Matt Pelletier up here as well, Elliott Leach, and Kyle Geary inside of the top 10. We get set as the pace car takes the sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane. Buckle up for what could be a crazy run to the finish. 34 cars on the lead lap as we head to the stripe.
Green flag out, Seth the Merchant down and away. Jorgensen with a good restart on the outside. He has a lot of help from Rodney Wofford. Wofford trying to get right up on there. They're trying to get it done here. And Jorgensen with a good run of steam through corner number 1 and 2. Could possibly exit corner number 2 with a good run down the backstretch and have an opportunity to take over the top spot. Not sure if he will be able to do that. He will not as of right now. The leaders are doing too good of a job at leading. And man, as we look, Jorgensen just doesn't have quite the help he needs. He is really needing Hatter to be behind him right now, and that's simply not happening. So as we work right now, a whole lot of guys just getting organized and trying to figure out where they want to fight and where they want to battle. We're just going to have about 10 laps to go, and I mean, we're almost there as these guys really try to find their friends.
The 24 going to go to the outside at a quarter number 4. He'll work with a teammate. He's got friendly company. The 88 Diet Mountain Dew entry is up there as well. That is Jorgensen. He will go from the top spot last time by the stripe to now P4, and Hanner's going to leave him down to the bottom. Goes the drive to End Hunger Chevy. 24 to the point now. Seth the Merchant into number 32. Going to follow the 24 up. Giratano behind him. Rod Flagg in tow. That's the first 4 down low. Outside now, Jorgensen needs some help. He'll have the assist from Wofford, Leach, and Roy. The 42 and the 14 rather. Are they going to work together, or are they going to try to leave these guys in front of them? We'll have to see. The longer they wait to get something going, though, the further and further away the top 2 are going to get.
And that's honestly not that bad of a thing for these guys, because when they catch them, they're going to have a huge run on them. Their speed's going to be increasingly better than the 2, because they're going to have to split up sooner or later, and that's just going to really help out the rest of the field here, as these guys are flat flying. Josh Hanner leads late in the stars fell on Alabama 250. Here comes the number 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. on the outside. When they catch him, it's going to be colossal, because the 88 is going to have a mad run of steam. Giratano trying to slow down his run, help his teammate. Not a whole lot they can do, because here comes Wofford and Jorgensen, and the fans are standing up now, because here comes the fan favorite, Mark Jorgensen to the outside. The Merchant wants to block, but he will not have enough time, or will he? No, he will not. Jorgensen says, I'm not going to help you, goes to the outside. Very risky move there with his teammate working with him. That, I mean, easily Rodney Wofford could have just said, I'm not working with you, work with Seth the Merchant, but instead it will be an all-Hanrick 1-2 as they take 10 laps to go in the Stars Fell in Alabama 250.
A risky move, but it pays off. The top 5 not giving an inch. Down to quarters 1 and 2. Up high, though, the 88 to 7. When they go up the 33-plus degrees of banking into the quarter, they're going to lose momentum. The inside almost dives down into that banking, gets a little bit of a speed run before they slow a little bit in the center of the quarter. That gives that inside line the advantage in the outside, the advantage of contact. The 2 slides up.
No.
He's going to turn Jorgensen and around a big one.
Dead.
Huge wreck at a corner number 4. Half the field piling into this at a quarter number 4. Caution flies with inside of 10 laps to go after the Diet Mountain Dew Chevy of Mark Jorgensen Jr. got turned, and it is a melee in quarter number 4.
Before everyone forgets, Mark Jorgensen, just so everyone knows, sustained literally no damage in that wreck. He got spun at such a high rate of speed, and he hit Rod fighting his car in a way that really didn't really hurt his car. I think he'll be able to go out there and fight. I mean, he does have a little bit of damage on the right side, but that car doesn't look like anything that won't be able to go back out there and fight. But it definitely was a big wreck. A lot of contenders involved in that one, and we will have to work with a little bit of less competition here. The guys who survived that you will be seeing out front when we get back racing with well under 10 laps to go. Josh Hanner in the lead, second to Merchant, third Wofford, fourth Oltmans, fifth Corey Henry, sixth will be Matt Pelletier, and seventh will be Donnie Garantano. The one that intrigues me the most out of all of them is Matt Pelletier. This is his first chance since joining the league that he'll have a big chance to prove himself. I'll be curious to see how he comes through in the clutch situation as we watch all the damaged cars coming down pit road trying to get their stuff fixed here, and what has been probably disappointing wreck for a lot of them guys who were running up here and had a shot to win.
Yeah, a lot of big names after the 88 again got turned and then snapped back up the hill. Rod Flagg, Paul Servant, Elliott Leach, Richard Holiday, the 8 Machine, right in the middle of that as well. Dana Osborne, Robbie Roy, all names that we have discussed literally throughout this entire race of drivers that have been up there, drivers that have been competitive and in a spot to win this. But again, it's not a race of 70 laps, it's a race of 94, and unfortunately for them, maybe the luck bank runs dry here late at Talladega because that was a monstrous incident. 2 teammates ended up on top of each other, Leach and as well the 03 Holiday up into the fence there, and a whole bunch of damage. Again, at least 15 or so cars involved in that incident. All of them limped down to the pit lane. And we're back under caution now with inside again of 10 laps to go. This next restart may put us at a position that it may be the final restart in this event. Josh Hanner survives to go to the lead. Other than that, everybody else kind of lucky that they're still out there on track to even be still surviving to get to this point and still be in a spot that they can try to race this out and continue to be competitive. There are some drivers that have damage that may or as well maybe even may not be in a position to be competitive but are staying out as well because they figure it's better to just kind of limp home with, maybe a top 15 if you're lucky than the pit maybe. A lot of drivers coming down, play it safe. Some drivers still have quick fixes, PD. Other drivers not as lucky, have to sit down there. And if there's a reasonable amount of time, whether it be a minute or 2 minutes, some of these guys might have 15, 20 minutes of damage repairs. They're going to be down there. They're going to get as much of it fixed and try to stay on the lead lap. But for a lot of those guys, their hopes of being competitive at least may be done. And it's funny because Talladega, it's the most aero-sensitive track on the circuit. And I mean, we talk about it, we go to Talladega and Daytona back-to-back, but if you're looking at a regular series, it's these plate tracks that are so aero-sensitive. The draft sometimes, and to a limitation, but the draft can help you overcompensate for some damage. So we'll have to see what some of these guys can do.
Although in iRacing, the damage is really screwy. Sometimes, you'll have a lot of damage and you'll be able to still fight somehow, and other times you'll have the littlest of damage and it'll make your car literally a brick, so you can't do anything. Obviously, all these guys hoping that it's the first way rather than the second, but unfortunately for them, Lady Luck doesn't usually work like that, and we're going to have a whole lot of fighting, a whole lot of beating and banging to go in this one. It has been I think it's been a thriller up to this point in the race. The pace car lights do remain on. They'll come around lap 88, get 1 to green. Actually, lap 89, get 1 to green. They'll restart with 5 laps to go, and from that point on, caution would end the race, so they're going to have to keep it clean at least until the white flag. Then its gloves are off, and it's just going to be about who can win this race. Once again, to reiterate the top 10 to you guys, these are the names that we expect to fight for the win unless a colossal wreck were to happen. In the lead, Josh Hanner, second, Seth the Merchant, third, Rodney Wofford, fourth, Jason Oltmans, fifth, Corey Henry, sixth, Donnie Garantano, seventh, Matt Pelletier, eighth, Shane McKeechin, ninth, Kyle Geary, and 10th, Ron Thompson. The first half of them guys are names you really expect to see and have heard a lot about this season. And the second 5, not so much. They haven't been in the top 10. They haven't been fighting for wins this season. They'll have their first opportunity, and I think the biggest one out of all of them is Shane McKeechin, the 28. He was a championship contender heading into the last race last season. This season, he has been completely irrelevant. He needs a big turnaround in this race.
Shane McKeechin, one of the drivers that is not in a spot to qualify in on a points because he's 28th in the standings. A win, again, if you're not Seth the Merchant, Robbie Roy, Josh Hanner, Josh Ball, and Jason Oltmans, the Merchant and Oltmans don't matter. If you're not Robbie Roy, Joshua Hanner, and Josh Ball, You need a win. Now, there are still guys up there, like a Matt Bontempi, a Ron Thompson, a Tanner Mann, who aren't all that far outside of the top 5. And, we talk about winning, but we do need to keep eyes on this points battle as we continue to roll forward. But there are so many names right now inside the top 10, inside the top 15, that are not going to fight for a championship if they don't win. The lights are out on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car. It is going to be a restart with 5 laps to go at Talladega. Very quick caution, might get another restart out of it, but if we get 1.5 laps or so in the back pocket, this race is going to be the final stint of this event. We work under our 6th caution flag of the evening, and a lot of those drivers, P, that I talked about that need a win, they can see it. It might be 10 feet in front of him, it might be 25 or 50 feet away, and I'm talking about the front nose of that 24 to Josh Hanner, which is the leader right now. They can taste it. The question is, can you execute, and will the cards fall in your direction?
As it's time to rock and roll with this race, this is now or never. They have to really put it all on the table here, and they can't leave anything in their pocket, obviously, with a race of this prestige, and they won't get to race another big race like this for a little bit. In this league, these races are big. You get the big trophy. If you're Seth the Merchant, you're racing for the big paycheck, and if you're Josh Hanner, you're racing for the chase berth. How will this play out? A lot of factors could go a lot of different ways, but we were about to find out. There's not a whole lot of team help in the front, except for Wicked Autosports has all 3 of their cars in the top 6, so we'll see if they can work together. None of them are lined up correctly with each other, though, so that could be a deciding factor in this one if it does come down to it. So here we come off turn number 4. Teammates are off, gloves are off. It's time to race for the win with just 5 laps to go this time around. The pace car is going to pull off, turn the field in the hands of Josh Hanner. Hanner in the number 24 looking to get his first win since last season, and the green flag is going to wave this time here, and they are galloping away, and now Seth the Merchant is getting a decent restart, but not as good as Josh Hanner. That inside line got a good enough jump where he should be able to work it through corner number 1.
A lot to check it up, about 4 or 5 rows deep. Again, a caution flag before the next lap is guaranteed to end this race. It looks like they get it sorted out for the moment. The top 4, 2 wide all the way through, 4 rows deep, make it the top 8. Besides the iSuperspeedway 500, probably the biggest race on the year. It's endurance race 2 of 4. There's 2 more in the season. The race before the chase, the Draft Heart 300, and the finale in Florida 400 at Daytona. Those are the only 2 other ones, but this one is a prestigious one. It's got a nice big trophy on the line. Everybody wants to win it. The question is, though, who does it? Because only one driver will be able to do so. Is it going to be Josh Hanner, the 24, leads right now, looking for his first win and a ticket to the championship? He's trailed by the 7 of Wofford, the 25 of Corey Henry, who was stopped on the apron and 2 laps down, PD, halfway into this race. He's there as well. Across the start-finish line at 4 to go.
Wild things happen at Talladega, and Corey Henry wants to be one of them as they are all racing here at the end of this one. What does Wofford go with the Merchant? He's getting a train of cars defending him, and one of them is that 28 of McKeechin that I was talking about, but that outside line's going nowhere. Someone has to go up there. This is a big race. It's time to make a daring move, and the Girantano hurts his teammate. Goes to the racetrack, they get loose, sketchy, all hang on to it, and the big winner in all of that's Matt Pelletier, who's going to move up to 4th and with a shot to win the race.
Altman's probably should have been turned into the fence there, but somehow he hangs on to the number 51 Geek Squad Ford Fusion. He'll fall back behind Seth the Merchant. In front of them, it is a top 3 breakaway this time through. They got lap traffic in front of them. Those cars will hit the apron. They will get well out of the way. 3 up front and then side by side, 4th on back. Giratano trying to get into this picture. He's got the push from behind with Shane McKeechin up high. Matt Pelletier is working with Seth the Merchant. The 32 has shown that he is a great pusher all night long. Can he get the push that he needs to be a challenger? He got 7 down low, 2 up high, and 2 laps to go this time by.
Outside lane's not working except for McKeechin and Dana Osborne. The unlikely combination are trying to make it happen here. Who goes with him? Will Corey Henry jump out? He's considering it. He will not. And here comes Shane McKeach. I said he had to make something big happen in this race due to his dismal start. He is trying to make it happen with 2 laps to go. No help whatsoever. Osborne really considering it. Will he go with him? It's now or never for Dana Osborne to decide. He will, because behind him is coming Mark Jorgensen Jr. The big names are rising in this one as they come towards this time by. Will be the white flag in the air. It's a side-by-side battle for second. McKeachin making up a ton of ground. This is McKeachin's big shot to win the race, and Dana Osborne is going to block Mark Jorgensen Jr. and ruin the outside line for now. These guys need to figure out who wants to win this race besides Josh Hanna before it's too late, as we get the white flag indicating 1 lap to go from Talladega.
Reckon, do they make it to the stripe?
Yep.
The white flag makes it out. We do stay green. White flag is in the air as they wreck behind our leaders through the tri-oval. They're going to be able to duke it out. 10 cars, 7/10 of a second. Contact. There goes Corey Henry hard in the fence. Jorgensen gets turned around as well. Big wreck at a corner number 2. White flag is out. We stay green. 3 drivers are going to decide this. Josh Hanner, Rodney Wofford, and company. How about that 8 of Dana Osborne? He needs something to happen. He's hurt, though. He falls off. Does Rodney Wofford go for it? Already, both these drivers need a checkered flag to get into this championship. The 7 jumps out of line into the tri-oval. It's going to be 1 moment too late, and at the start-finish line, give it. Josh Hanner, checkered flag. He wins. The stars fell on Alabama 250. I said 2 drivers inside the top 5 have wins. Make it 3 now. The 24 is going to be racing for a championship.
I can't believe what I saw. Elliott Leach restarted 24th with 5 laps to go and came through all them cars to somehow finish 4th. I mean, that was just an incredible comeback for him. How about that? And how about Josh Hanner winning? The stars fell on Alabama 250. That 24 is electric right now. Everyone give him a congratulatory bump. He has a lot of friends. Everyone loves Mr. Hanrick, and right now everyone's just showing a lot of love to that 24 machine as he is making it back around to do his victory celebrations in the tri-oval. He has won the big race here, ensuring himself a spot in this chase for the championship. And Mr. Hanrick himself, I'm sure, will be pretty emotional in victory lane. He is going to be thrilled to have finally broke through in victory lane this season, but he couldn't have done it without the help of Rodney Wofford, Mark Jorgensen, and all his friends, and it pays off in a big way as he comes around this time. He's about to burn them down for the fans, as momentarily we will get to talk to your top 3 and more live from the Talladega Media Center.
So the 2 gets turned around, the 51. They make contact in the tri-oval. They do spin, and they go completely around, but the leaders get the white flag in the nick of time, and you saw both incidents. Then Corey Henry getting hooked in corner number 2 after the 28 of Shane McKeachin gets turned by the 8. That was an equally as large and violent incident as Corey Henry was on his lid and flipped multiple times into the inside wall. He hit the roof of Elliott Leach, but it did not mess with the aerodynamics of that 42. And then coming down to it, it has been so difficult to step out of line here on a leader without assistance on the white flag lap. The 7 just waited too long. He was trying to fake the 24 out, stepped out of line, wasn't going to happen, and just tucked back in and accepted it. The Race Fan Racing Incorporated Chevy comes home second, and it is the 24 who comes home atop the pile after a wicked race. He started in 4th position. Our pole sitter comes home second. Behind there, though, PD, it was really a lot of guys that did not start up front, that came through the race, that had to fight to be able to get to where they were. But in the end, somehow that 24, who played strong all race, a lot of guys like to fall back. He said, I'm just going to stay out in front of this one for all of it, and that's the strategy that paid off, and now he's into that championship hunt for sure.
Yeah, he is, and man, that was a really exciting finish there. I mean, we got to see it all break down, and man, I can't believe that they all made it back around. Well, I mean, obviously they don't all make it back around, but I can't believe the top 3 at least made it back around. I thought we would see Wofford and Josh and Dana. I thought we were going to see all them guys get in it, but luckily they didn't, and they all hung on, and well, in the end, it is Josh Hanner who was the big winner here from the Talladega Super Speedway, but must be very exciting. Can't wait to hear from him.
And the pass for the win is going to come way back on lap 83 when his teammate Mark Jorgensen Jr. pushed him around on the outside. He restarted atop the first position on the final restart and held on to take home the checkered flag. Your winner this evening for round 8 in the Season 4 campaign for the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series from Talladega is Josh Hanner. He takes on the checkers, and the stars fell on Alabama 250. He's in the championship. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Wofford Osborne and get you set with the LSRTV post-race show from Lincoln, Alabama, coming to you in just a moment. Keep it locked. Back live at the Talladega Superspeedway with the post-race show on LSRTV following the conclusion of this evening's Stars Fell on Alabama 250, the second endurance event out of 4 on the Season 4 championship with the ISS Superspeedway Series. And PD, it was a exciting one nonetheless. A late race caution threw that extra twist into it, but in the end, a dominant car ends up walking away with. A lot of the times it's not normally the way it happens at Talladega. To get things kicked off, we've caught up on the pit lane with the driver of the number 8 machine. It's going to be a P3 result after starting in 13th position. It was almost the lucky number 13. We're down with Dana Osborne. Dana, that very close to walking away with a win in this one. Things got pretty wicked there on that final lap. Knock us through what happened there and what led to you just sliding off the back of those guys out of the final corner, coming with third.
I've had a tough season this season just because of this draft package, but, I don't know what exactly happened on the last lap. I pushed up into Mark and Shane and caused Corey to wreck, and my apologies to them. I didn't mean to do that. But, it's just awesome finally finishing in the top 5, after having a rough season.
You got to look at this as a momentum booster. We've been talking about it all night, how it's starting to get down to the end of this, because tonight, round 8, you got to go forward 9, 10, 11. That's it to qualify in for this championship. You and the team looking for what would be a checkered flag to be able to get yourself that ticket, knowing that now the kind of strategy it took, and again tonight over a significantly longer run than we do typically see with our B mains and with our A mains, go 94 laps to be there at the end. What did you learn tonight that maybe you can try to apply to these next 3 races and try to get that do shine Chevy in the championship hunt?
What I learned in these long races just to lay back and work with your teammate like I did with Paul. And we was up there and we fell back and he wound up in a crash, and that's all she wrote for him. But we did a pretty good job overall all night.
Well, good news for you and the guys is that for the final event of the regular season, which is going to be round 13 before we go into a 5-race chase, it's going to be an endurance event, and it's going to be back here at Talladega. So you guys showed that you were strong tonight, and now you guys can kind of get an idea that you know how to execute. You can come into it with a little bit more confidence. What's the game plan now rolling forward? 5 races to go until we slim this thing down to hunt for a championship. You guys are not in a position to qualify in on points. You need a win. Are you going to change the strategy that you've used at all so far this season to get it done? Or, just continue to do what you guys have been doing and hope that the cards fall the right way?
Do what we did tonight and wait till the end of it, and just when it's time to go, it's time to go,
Well, it almost, it almost worked out perfectly for you guys. You started 13th, up 10. You get a podium tonight, Dan. I want to give you the opportunity. Thank everybody that makes it happen for you. Any sponsors or shout-outs?
I thank Rod for putting this show on. I thank all my teammates for sticking around and helping each other out, and just to you guys for what you guys do. You all put on an awesome show, you know.
Well, thanks for taking a moment to talk with us, Dana. Congratulations. I wish you the best of luck for you and that number 8 Chevy team rolling forward. If you get a win and you get in that championship, I'm expecting a case of Dewshine up here in the booth.
10-4 on that. I'll get you, Pat.
Good luck next week.
Thank you.
So that is your third place finisher in the Diet Mountain Dew Dewshine Chevrolet nationwide on board as well. The Dale Earnhardt inspired, Dale Earnhardt Jr. rather. We got two of them, the 8 and the 88, repping the Dale Jr. stuff. And so that's going to be a P3 for the number 8 machine. And we're down in the number 1 pit stall. The driver that started on pole position almost swept the evening. He was fastest in practice, fastest in qual. Comes home over 43 100ths of a second off the top spot. PDJ Zeller's down in the bits. He's caught up with Rodney Wofford.
Yeah, I'm down here with Rodney Wofford after a second place effort. And Rodney, this whole race we watched you run around the front. You had a good event. I mean, you had both of your teammates there at the end to help you. What was the difference for you and your team?
There at the end, I was just tight, pushing up the track, and pretty much was just waiting to make my move in 3, and I screwed that up and then tried for it, but in the end, the 24 came out victorious on that.
All right, Rodney. Well, I mean, you guys did have a good event, but what were you thinking about turn 4? Did you have any plans to pass Hander there? I mean, I'm sure you did, but why couldn't you execute any of your attempted plans there? Was he just too right up on the wheel?
Well, with a few laps to go, crew chief came over the radio saying we're about to blow a right front tire, and that was a little scary there. And past 4 weeks haven't been good, so just running for a solid finish, and it's definitely wanting to get it there. I poked out and tried to, but just unsuccessful this time. But finally back up here in victory. Well, going to say hi to Joshua Hanner in victory circle there.
Well, you finished second, and so far this season you have 2 wins. You're solidly in the chase. We believe your teammate Seth has a win. We can expect both of you to be championship contenders. Is a big goal over there at Wicked Auto Sports to get the third guy, Donnie Guarantano, a win? Is that a big goal for you guys?
Oh, for sure. I thought we definitely had him at Daytona a few weeks ago. Thought for sure he had that one, and we could have definitely closed on one tonight. But just that high groove, I couldn't run it with those old tires I had.
All right, and looking forward to next week. What are your expectations for there?
Go in there, solid finish. If not, grab the trophy. If all else.
All right, Rodney. Well, before I let you go catch up with the crew and congratulate Josh Hanner on his win, who do you think makes that for you, the number 7 team?
Oh, Rod Flag definitely does putting it on. Everybody at the crew here at Wicked Motorsports, everybody in the league, man, everybody does an awesome job, and we have some good tight racing.
Thank you for joining me, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you, Petey. Thank you, guys.
Meanwhile, down in Victory Lane, the champagne is flying, and so is Josh Hanner. He has just won the second biggest race of the season, and Evan Pasoko is caught up with him after the big win.
So we talked points, which is something that you don't do a lot in this, but we continue to say that the only way to get in without a win is to be the top 5 in points. Well, Josh Hanner's spoiling everybody's hopes because he's up there right now, and he'll take home the checkered flag tonight. And the stars fell on Alabama 250 and punches his own ticket into the iSuper Chase. We're down here and climbing out of that 24. Josh, first off, we talked to you last week at Daytona. Looking for a good finish. Didn't quite get the win in that one. That was a wild one. That finish really spanned all the way till last night. Tonight you come into this strong run, not only for you, but your team as well. You had teammates up there. The 88, the 5 was up there as well with you throughout the middle of the race. You capitalized on this one, and it was from the assist that Jorgensen gave you with, I think it was a push at right about maybe 11 laps to go. You got to the top spot, and you never looked back. How'd you get this win?
Well, I just had a good group of guys that wanted to work with me. I owe it all to those guys: Mark Jorgensen, Tanner Mann, Rodney Wofford, Seth DeMerchant, Donnie Giratano. All those guys, we all tried to work together the whole race, and I only got to win it because of them. I owe it all to them.
And now you're into that championship. First reactions on that?
That takes a load of pressure off. I was running good all season. I was able to stay in the top 5 in points. And last week I was just so down in the dumps. I had that terrible run. I think I dropped 30 points on Seth, where going in we were only 6 or 7 points apart. And I said, I'm just going to have to win if I'm going to make the chase. And I didn't think I would actually do it because Talladega typically doesn't like me, but it worked out today. It takes a load of pressure off. Now I can just kind of ride out there and just wait for the chase to start and start going hard again. Hopefully take home this championship.
Strategy and working with teammates is something that goes hand in hand with these plate track races. We have 5 races to go until we start a championship, and you have 3 teammates that you would like to have join you. How do you get them in as well?
Well, now we're going to try and keep them out front if we can. I'm going to do all I can possibly do to get Mark and Tanner and Josh Ball a win. It's just, you got to play the strategy right and be in position at the end. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And if we are, watch out. I'm going to be all over them trying to get them out there.
Well, you got the job done tonight. You execute. And by the way, the hardware that you get for this trophy, it's a little bit more flashy than some of the other ones. So you take home a good one. Rolling forward now, I know you're going to be helping out the teammates rolling now into Daytona. We're back to the normal Daytona for a week here, at least for a little while until we get back down to the chase stuff. Game plan going forward. If you can't help your teammates out, you're going for checkers?
Yeah, obviously, if I can't help the teammates, I'm going to try and win it myself. But I got to be cautious about it. I don't want to get in too many bad spots. You fall far enough back in the points, even with the win, you're not eligible for the chase. So, got to keep that in the back of your mind. So, got to be cautiously aggressive.
Well, tonight's win, I feel for you guys, is going to be a lot less stressful for the 3 gentlemen that were given and then taken away wins over this last week after what was a crazy Daytona. You got a week to enjoy it. You go back to work in 1 week's time at Daytona. Before we let you go, I know you guys worked really hard to get this checkered flag. Who makes it happen for not only you, but as well as that entire organization?
First off, I want to thank Rod for doing the league. He puts on an awesome show. I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. You put so much into it. It's absolutely amazing. I want to thank all my teammates, like I did earlier, Tanner Mann, Josh Ball, Mark Jorgensen, and then also the Wicked Motorsports guys, Rodney Wofford, Donnie Giratano, Seth the Merchant. Throw a quick shout out to all those guys. Thanks.
Well, thanks for taking a moment to talk with us, Josh. Congratulations again. Enjoyed that hardware. Make sure to let us know where you decide to put it there on the desk there. We wish you the best of luck to you and the team rolling forward. We'll see you in Daytona.
Thank you. Beers on me tonight, fellas.
10-4. That is your winner tonight in the Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet. It is Josh Hanner, PD. Hannerick, they've been so strong, and finally they get the lead member of that into the chase, and he said it. They got 5 races to get 3 more of them in, and they're up to the challenge.
Yeah, and it should be exciting to see how they do it, and man, I'll be really, really, really... I'll be in to see what their operation does here in this upcoming weeks. They'll be trying to get, obviously... Ball and Mann and Jorgensen, all those guys we try and get in the chase. Should be fun to see how they do that. A lot of good drivers still not locked in this chase, though, and a lot of races to come. Rod Flagg's show has put on a heck of a show this season, and if it wasn't for the man we know as Rod Flagg, we wouldn't be here right now. So, of course, as always, thank you to you, and this is going to be a whole lot of fun coming down the stretch here towards the end of the chase. Should obviously keep watching these. It's a lot of fun.
6 drivers now in, 5 races to go to add a couple of more names into this championship mix. For more information on the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, you guessed it, iSuperspeedway.com. They also have a Twitter. Follow them at iSuperspeedway or through Facebook at facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. Stay up to date with everything LSRTV online at livesimracing.com or through our social media on Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. For post-race recaps, news, and other press, those can be viewed through our partners at Race Chaser Online at racechaseronline.com or iRacing News at iRacing.com/iRacing News. And it is an exciting weekend coming up on LSRTV this Sunday, the Cora Sunday Money Series season finale, the JMP Customs 266 right back here at Talladega, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. You are not going to want to miss that one. Until then, on behalf of the broadcast crew this evening from Lincoln, Alabama, alongside myself, Evan Pasoko, PDJ Zeller, and Laura Lawson, want to as well give a quick thanks to our in-race reporter tonight, Matt Bontepi. Congratulations to Josh Hanner and the Hanrick organization. They're in for a championship battle. Until next time, we wish you good night from Talladega. We'll see you next race for Feature Race 9, Friday, May the 15th, 10 o'clock Eastern, from the World Center of Racing, Daytona.